and I, our energies are very similar.
We're all well known and remembered for something.
All good things to all great people.
Why do we put that pressure on ourselves to take away from the important task we're doing?
Why? If we knew that question, we'd both be retired in 5 minutes.
Why? I would never say the things to other people that I say to myself.
When you don't know what to do and you're struggling, do nothing.
My weakness is I'm a perfectionist.
I am a human being. I'm not a workhorse. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Fantastic. What about you?
Awesome. Now that we are back into series 2, I have missed you, girl. I mean, I know we talk, I know we whatever, but this FaceTime for you and I feel for me anyways, I'm not going to speak for you, is so important. And, this is a perfect sort of lead into what we're going to talk about. And, you'll often say, yeah, miss it too. And, sometimes it's the best part of my day that I get some FaceTime with my sis and, we get to chitty chat and we wear so many hats. And you and I, being a mom, some ladies and some of the audience actually are parents, some are not. And that's totally fine. But it's all about wearing different hats. And, that's sort of what we're chatting about today. So talk to me, girl.
Let me tell you. So we're all famous for something. We're all well known and remembered for something. For me, it's you and your sunglasses. Exactly. For me, it's my glasses. And let me tell you,
talked about.
Right?
Yeah, first thing we talked about today. I just got to interject because I'm so excited. Every time I see you, I'm like, I can't wait to see what color she's wearing next. And clearly I'm the lilac girl. And I don't know you've ever had the lilac, or I know you've had the pink. And I said, like, do you have 900 pairs of glasses? And drum roll, and then go ahead, go for it.
So I got to tell you, so I am well known. Every meeting I go on, every time I'm speaking at an event, I'm at a conference, I'm at a meeting, somebody says something about, oh my God, your glasses. And these are like my cool party trick. I love my glasses, and it really relates to what we're talking about, wearing the different hats. And so like I got my different hats too. I got my I'm fun, it's the weekend, I'm at a party, I'm going to a concert. I got my, I gotta be mom at the soccer event. I got to go to the dance studio, sit in the reception room. I got my, it's time for the big important meeting with the bosses. So I got to tone her down. I got to, not be too flashy. So these are my different hats. They're my different glasses, my different lenses into the world.
Legitimately lenses. Okay, we got to go back to the oh yes, where's the lilac ones? Those are fab. Okay, you could just interchange.
I'm just gonna
the entire podcast, and now I'm gonna bug you to do that constantly, and you're gonna be like, okay, it was a one-off, we're not continuing with this game. But
I'll share something with you. I'll share something with you. It's so funny. So my team, we have our morning meetings to brief. I'm like, here's what we're doing today. Here's our focuses. And if I jump on that morning meeting and I haven't put a color on, I'm just wearing these. Are like, are you okay? Are you not in a good mood today? Are you not you not feeling it? It's almost like wearing a mood ring, right? It's like, no, I'm good. I'm fine.
You're like, I'm good. I'm here. I'm on. I'm connected. I'm vibrant. Well, when you came on, I was like, hey, I'm like, oh my God. Because it's always your hair and your glasses. Like you're forever changing, right? I'm going to share my beautiful cover. And I said, who does this remind you of? Right? And it reminds me of you because inside that box, she's got so many different looks and wearing obviously so many hats. And I want to be her when I grow up, just an FYI. But you did not have a cover on your glasses. And I'm like, do you have like 900 pairs of glasses? I'm used to, because you know what? And this is a whole psychology and mindset thing. Color really does mean so much to people. Like I love black, I love white, but I've got my fuchsia shirts and my whatever, and it just makes you feel whatever. So now there's the Chris that we know and love so much. But if you feel black and dark, I'm okay for you to take them off. But I know you rarely feel like that.
I'm good. This is my brightness today. I'm bringing the sunshine. It's rainy here. I'm bringing the sunshine.
I know, right? So let's talk about, you and I have had such interesting conversations, which, is not, let's just say necessarily the norm about, being an entrepreneur and a founder. This is about being all good things to all great people.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't even know how we got on the conversation about, I think we were talking about, maybe you were at dance and I said, "Oh my gosh," and hockey and whatever. So
Yes.
we'll get to the mom part and the parent part for sure. But how does it feel for you sometimes when you're having to wear all these different
Mm.
hats? Like, even I look at what you do work wise, even for myself. First, I'm a host, then I'm a publisher, then I'm this, then I'm that, private investigator. And you're constantly removing, the glasses and becoming these amazing individuals. So, what's the juggling act like for you?
Ugh. Yeah, so it's a great question. And I will share. So I share all the time. I'm very open about the fact that I have ADHD. And this is one of those times where that works in my favor. It's a superpower. So the juggling actually is exactly how my brain works. So it's great. I can go, okay, I got to do this now. I got to go here now. I got to move to this. That's how my brain functions.
Same.
And so that works out for me. It's a super skill for me. And so I think that one of the best things I can share, or one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got, was be the energy for the next tasks. So
Oh,
when I have to jump and I have to move, I need to make sure that I'm bringing whatever energy I need out of that next adventure, whether that's jumping on a next meeting, going to a next event, going back to mom mode, whatever it is. I have to be the energy that I bring. And so I keep that in mind, that like that's my role, is to be the energy that I want that task to be.
that's fabulous. But exhausting, but I'm
Yeah.
the same. Sometimes when people hang out with me and, they see what I do and I'm in a car, I'm putting on lipstick, I'm doing, Zoom calls, I'm doing this, redirecting whatever and, approving this, doing that. People are like, what you're doing in these last like few hours, I don't even do in a month. I can't get my
Yeah.
head around like, and I'm like, really? It's a slow day for me.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just kind of like don't get it, right? But it's fine. So we're high functioning in many different ways. And I think that's one of the other things that you and I, our energies are very
Yeah.
similar. But um, do you struggle sometimes with sort of, and I don't want to say fitting in, maybe that's not
Yeah.
the right word I'm looking for. Sometimes I struggle to connect with certain groups and not, and I tell everybody this, anybody who will listen, it's not because I don't want to sometimes. Sometimes it is, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's not that I don't want to. And this was a perfect example. I think we were talking, maybe it was about your child's dance. And I remember having my fourth baby who was very ill, when he was first born. And so, but still running businesses and doing that and doing that.
Mm.
So when they were in dance, I had, baby here, doing stuff on the computer, in the car. And people would sort of look at me and, I knew there was talk. People had told me, oh, they think you're a snob. They think you're stuck up. They think you're this. And I'm like, really? Because I feel like I'm like the nicest, like I'm such a
Yeah.
kind human.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately treading water here,
Yes.
looking after
Yes.
four kids, sick baby, doing this. And my downtime, if it's quiet, baby sleeping, and
Yes.
do you feel that way at all?
Oh, do I feel that way? Like you are preaching to the choir. So I'll give you a perfect example. And you're
Tell
right.
me.
We were talking about it one day because I was sitting, my daughter was in her dance class, and I was sitting, there's a reception parents area where we sit and wait. My daughter's still young, and so they do ask and totally understand and love this policy, but that you stay right on site, because if something happens, or they need a washroom break, they got to come get the parents. And so we sit in this reception area. There's chairs, and there's even a little TV screen where you can watch the class going on, and it's great. And that is the 45 minutes of my week that I can just sit. There's lovely relaxing music playing because we're in a dance studio. So there's music playing, and I just sit and I just take a moment. And a lot of times I might be still working, like I got the, like you said, the computer. I usually got the phone out and I'm replying to LinkedIn messages, or I'm sharing some social posts, or but it's very calm, and
And
relax.
it's your
And
time.
yeah, and none of my teenagers are there, and I love them dearly, but they're not making any requests because they know that, like, nope, for the next 45 minutes, mom's unavailable. She needs to stay
Love
right
that.
here.
Healthy boundary. Healthy
Yeah.
boundary.
Yeah. So I do. I love that it's my quiet time to just decompress a little bit. But
Do you
man,
get
do I
pushback?
ever resonate with your all the other parents are chit chatting and we should get together and we should, oh, there's this fundraising thing and there's this, and I know I sit there, I even judge myself. You know what, you said that you there was talk of other people talking. Do you know who's the worst? Me. I'm the worst
Mm.
on me. Like, I
Yep.
sit there and think, oh, maybe I should put my hand up and go talk to them and volunteer to do something, and but it's me, I'm doing that to myself,
Yeah.
right? And
Interesting.
but why do we put that pressure? Why do we put that pressure on ourselves to take away from the important task we're doing? Like, it's important that I take 45 minutes of mental
To
clarity.
Yeah, so incredibly important. You know, same.
Yeah,
You bring some really valid questions. Why? If we knew that question, we'd both be retired in,
yeah,
5 minutes. We'd bottle it, we'd sell it,
yeah,
and we'd be
yeah,
billionaires.
yeah,
I think, like, for me, I can only speak for me.
yeah.
For me, I feel like, is my child not gonna, like, be part of, like, the birthday parties
Mm,
and
yeah.
events and whatever? I know that I was really hard on myself with that part of it, and sometimes they weren't. And
Mm,
it took probably to child three, because I've got four, that I thought, okay, I'm okay with that. If that's really what it's all about, that it's a clicky group and it's whatever. And a lot of times I never spoke about it. And for years, I mean, maybe decades, I didn't speak about it. And then my third son's team, and to this day, I love each and every one of them. They are
yeah.
all fabulous. We don't get together, 4 times a week like we used to in rep hockey, but we're still all very close, phone call away, whatever. But I finally just talked to, like, the core kind of group, and I said, listen, I don't know if you guys think I'm snobby or not. They're like, well, we don't, but there might be a few. And I said, fair. Do you think I'm so? Oh God, no, Adrian, like, you're always so. I'm like, okay, so here's the whole deal. You guys do, like, spa days every, I think, year or twice a year. I will never be at those, and it's women only. It's not that I don't want. I'm there with you in body and mind. I'll
Yeah,
send you a bottle of champagne. Can't take a day. I
yeah,
cannot take a day. And if I'm going to take a day, it's going to be with my family or
yeah,
my husband or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So it is forgiving yourself, and I think it also comes with sort of
Ah, I love
maturity and
that.
going
Forgiving
through it.
yourself. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and because you feel I call it the Hungarian guilt, right? I think we feel so guilty, and it's
yeah,
like you said, why? Why can't I take this mental health break
yeah,
or whatever? I can sit in my car and sing Kumbaya,
yeah.
or do my, like you said, your social, or do nothing.
Or do
And
nothing.
that
Yeah,
and that's my time. So I feel like once I told everybody, and I would make the effort
yeah.
when I had the time, and I would go to things and whatever. And because we were together for so long, then they accepted it. What was really bad,
Mm,
I'm just going to say. Also, the fact that you have a ton of kids too. I have
yeah,
4 kids. So people that have one kid, I feel, are typically the ones that would say judge and be really judgy. Like, I don't understand. And, we're all busy. That particular team had 4 families with 4 kids, and
yeah,
all moms were professionals. So it's not even like, again, I would never use it as an excuse, but it is a legit reason
yeah,
that I can't mentally or physically be there.
yeah, yeah. I love that.
I don't
And you know
know.
what? You brought up a good point. And so I don't know what it is. So I have 4 kids, like you, 3 boys. We didn't do hockey. Like, my boys weren't hockey boys. Okay.
Mm.
And there's something, I can't say what it is because I wasn't a hockey parent, but there's something different about that connection when you're a hockey parent. Now, I don't, it looks lovely. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because you have to spend so much time together because there's all those tournaments and practices, and I don't know if that's what it is. But I will share that my boys were soccer boys. They played soccer, and
Yeah.
a lot of the hockey players played soccer in the off
Hmm.
season. And unfortunately, you were talking about, not getting invited to certain things or not being included. And I did feel that when they were younger. They're grown now and they're fine. They're not scarred or anything.
Yeah.
But when they were younger, I felt it. I would say, oh, like,
Mhm.
oh, your whole soccer team got together for a pool party on the weekend and you weren't invited. And they were like, well, it was the hockey kids.
Yeah.
But the hockey
Mhm.
kids were 90% of the soccer team. So it was like,
Yep.
oh, because we're not hockey, we didn't get the invite. And, and then, like you said, then you got that mom guilt.
Very
Like, it's my
clicky.
fault. It's my fault
Mhm.
because I didn't make friends with all those parents well enough. I didn't fit in well enough so that you'd get the invite. And I love the point that you make that you got to forgive yourself. Like, just, you know what?
Mm.
I do this, this, and this, and that's enough. That's enough.
Yes. Oh, I love that. That's enough. That is such a powerful statement
Yes.
because you're one person parenting multiple children
Yeah.
and a professional. And
Yeah.
oh, let's not forget you're a human being
Yeah.
because your
Don't
needs
we
are like
forget that though? Don't
we
we
so
forget
do.
that?
We're
Yeah.
talking all
Mm.
about, the
Yeah.
hockey, the soccer, the this, the that, the professional. You're also a human being. I actually oddly, yes, the rock star kind of lost her shit this week and on everybody because it just seemed like everybody was just taking a piece of me. And I'm talking about at home. And it was just like, look, I am a human being. I'm not, a workhorse, although, people would think otherwise. I'm not this, I'm not that. Like, just back off. And they were like, oh, are you upset? And I'm like, again, I live with all men, so please understand. Love them dearly. But, when steam's coming out and, my head's spinning, yes, I'm a little bit annoyed. And I literally just wanted to take a half an hour, but they took it as, oh, she's not doing anything. Let me
It's
go
my
see what
time.
what she
It's
can.
my
Yeah.
time to get in there.
And
Yeah.
that's why I was like healthy boundaries. We started off, I'm kind of coming full circle. We
Yes.
started
Yeah.
off about healthy boundaries. I think, we have to create these healthy boundaries within our lives. So as women and as human beings that
Yeah.
let's call a spade, typically are the pillar and the foundation of many things for
Yeah.
sure at home. I'm
Yeah.
not
Oh
saying
yeah.
everybody, but I'm saying everybody, all most of the women I know, they are the doer and maker of all good things at home, plus their beautiful budding businesses, careers, whatever it is. And then you've got all that extra stuff. So why do you forget about yourself, Chris? Because
Mm.
I know I
Yeah.
do. We even
Yeah.
in this conversation, why do we do that?
You know what? It's a great question, and like you said, if we knew the answer, I think we'd be in a better place. Like, I don't like we,
Yeah.
there. I agree with you though. I think we forget, and we don't give ourselves grace. We don't, what's the word I'm looking for? We don't.
Value our wellness enough,
I
maybe
don't.
like, the whole mask thing. Because the thing is, like you said,
Mm.
I do value and know I have to take care of myself. But it seems like on a list of things to do, I'm usually down here, like here, I'm getting to the top. Let's put it that way. I'm pushing myself to the top, but not often enough. And I just, if anybody listening to this knows the why, please put it
Yeah,
in the
please
comments.
let us know. Like, call us immediately. Like, we
Call
need
me.
the yeah, call me. We need the answer. I don't know what it is, but you know what? I'm searching for it. I'm searching for it. And I don't know. We've never actually had this conversation, Adrian. I don't know if you're a reader, but that's one of my escapes is I like to read.
Mm,
And I wish I had more time to do it. I don't have a ton, but
same.
I do it sometimes. And one of the things that I found is helpful for me to get to read more is I will listen to audiobooks when I'm traveling. So
Love
I
that.
do a lot of traveling, right? And so with work and stuff. And so I'll listen to audiobooks. And one that I listened to recently that I highly recommend, because man, was it ever a great book, and a great book when you're talking about that, give yourself some grace, be kinder to yourself. And it was Valerie Bertinelli, and her book is called Enough Already. And
Yes.
man, was that a good book.
Oh yeah.
And
I
oh,
read it a while ago, but was that your aha moment where it's like, I remember reading it quite some time, listening, and I do a lot of the listening
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Because even if you're walking, if you're doing whatever, you get to do two
Yeah.
things at once because we're so good at multitasking.
Yeah, so I
And
love it
what
for
was it for
driving
you?
or walking. For me, you know what it was is it was every time she spoke about how, she was raising this individual and really reinforcing, be kind, give grace to other humans, and then she would say, like, why aren't I doing that for myself? Like,
Mm.
why I would never say the things to other people that I say to myself.
That was it
And
for
it,
me too.
yeah, and it really, really got to me that, like, oh my gosh, like, I would never, first of all, I would never say the things to other people that I say to myself. But even more so, I would never set such high, unrealistic expectations and standards for anyone else that I set for myself. I would never.
I know. But you know what? That's part of your growth right there,
Mm.
is part of your, I think, and it's part of our evolution because it's such an aha moment. And it's funny, I'll just share with you a very similar story. Is that exact thing was what I was telling one of my kids who was suffering from anxiety and from a little bit of depression, and would say, I think I'm this and I think I'm that, and he's like, I know I'm not, because like, look at everything I'm doing. However, and then it was that moment that I remembered reading that passage saying, do you talk to others like that? And he was like mortified. He's like, no, like, how he's
Yeah.
this salt of the earth human. And it's like, why do you do that to yourself? This was years ago. Doesn't he use it on me? Because I was like, I was having a moment and I was like, oh, I got to do that. And he was like, mom, do you remember that day 3 years ago when you said,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. You're throwing this shit back right in my
Yeah.
face. Good on you, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's true. It's those reminders. And even just, talking about it, like you said, doing these podcasts and letting people know to give themselves the grace and the
Yeah.
time and the space to just be. I love Oprah's, one of her sayings that I've just really held on to, when you don't know what to do and you're struggling, do nothing. And everybody's like, oh, but I've got to like multitask and redo this and redo that. And it's like, do nothing. And that
Mm.
calm just sort of soothes everything in your
Yeah.
soul, in your
Yeah.
mind, in your whole being. We never do nothing, Chris.
Yeah. No, I'm really bad at it, actually. People ask me all the time in discussions. Everybody talks about what's your super skill. What are you really good at? And the struggle I have is when people say, oh, what are you bad at? Like, what, that old school interview question? Give me your weakness. I hate that
Yeah.
question. Only because here's why I hate it. Because one, I can list you 25 things I think I'm bad at. And so now
Yeah.
you're making me pick one. And two, is that I don't want to seem like I'm giving you a fluff answer. Like, if I tell you, and it's funny, we had this discussion this week, you're gonna laugh when I say it out loud. If I tell you, well, actually, my weakness is I'm a perfectionist and I put too much pressure on myself to be perfect all the time, you're gonna, as the interviewer, right? You're gonna roll your eyes at me like, of course you are. No, for real though.
Yeah.
For
You're
real
like, no,
though.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, hello, this is
Yeah.
real.
For real.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is, too, but being, oh gosh, this is a whole nother segment and interview all on its own, because being a perfectionist, okay, I mean, there's so many different facets to it. I think that's what makes you so good at a lot of the
Mm.
things you do. The son I was talking about is also a perfectionist, an artist, or whatever, which is why he's so good at what he does. So I feel being a perfectionist, if you want to call it that, because I try to stay away from all labels, but that one in particular, because I know I'm like that as well. But I feel like being a perfectionist is sort of goes back to confidence. It's like it's the belief system you have within yourself that you put on you, not what, Sally or Johnny, your husband, your mother, your wife, whoever puts on you. It's something you hold in yourself. So
Yeah.
why can't we change that? Why can't, if you put this on yourself to, do this goal and you didn't meet it. Why? And because you're so busy, not because, you're sitting on the couch eating potato chips. Why
No.
can't we move that goal and not say, oh, I didn't achieve it and walk away and beat the shit out of ourselves? Why can't we say, it's okay because I achieved all of this, which took me away from that. So let me give myself another 2 days or another week to get that done and get it done
Yeah.
properly. It's just a whole mindset thing. And it is not easy. I still kick the crap out of myself if I don't meet something that
Yeah.
I put on myself. Do you feel the same way?
I do. And here's what I'll share with you that I've been trying. I'm not great at it yet, but here's what I've been trying.
Tell
So
me.
I've done a lot of reading about, spending more time being grateful, spending more time realizing where, like you just said, like, here's what I've done. So I'm trying to not only focus on being grateful for the things that I have, but being grateful to myself for achieving them. So, like you just said,
Ooh.
not just recognizing I am grateful that I have a beautiful home and healthy children. I am grateful for that. Absolutely. But I'm trying to also recognize that I'm grateful that I have a beautiful home and healthy
Mm.
children because of the effort and the work ethic and the passion I've had to get here. So
I
I'm
love
working on
that.
it. I'm working on it because
I
a lot of
love
times we
that.
say, like, I'm so grateful that I have these things in my life. And
Yeah.
we should. I'm not, please don't anyone say that it's not, oh, you should be great. No, no, I am. I'm grateful. But I think we don't often recognize that we were part of that. We should recognize ourselves that our hard work, our efforts, our time, our, whatever it was that you did to get those things, that was you. And so be grateful for what we did ourselves to get to where we are. It didn't just happen magically. Like where you're sitting today, the
Exactly.
success you've had, it's not magic. It's you.
Well, it's
It's
hard. It's hard
you're
work,
the
but
magic.
yes. And what you're saying and what I hear you saying is something I practice religiously, but I get lost. And then I need
Mm,
to
mm,
reground myself,
yep.
which is being grateful intentionally, being
Mm,
grateful on purpose,
yep.
right? The whole thing of the I am, and, my keynote that I chatted to you about is I had, and when I was doing one-on-one coaching, and now I do it obviously on a larger scale, I had everybody write down I am and stick it on like a sticky note on their mirror, wherever they start and end their day. And it's like, well, what am I going to write? Whatever you feel positive, not like I'm an ass or I'm a
Yeah.
loser. I right? Because that's what you want to
Yeah.
write.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you write it, I kid you not, 30 days, it will change your life. I am love. If one day you can't think what you are because you're so down in the gutter, I am grateful. Like you can be grateful of
Yeah.
the fact that you put your 2 feet on the ground.
Yeah.
And so people have all these sticky notes and they've sent me photos
I
and
love
they've,
that.
told me like it because it's not only that you wake up and, I'm going to read, I am grateful, I am unbreakable, I am loved. No, it's also subconsciously for 30 days rewiring your brain
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you can be in a positive way. But all of the stuff like you're saying, all the things, that you read in books, the hardest thing is discipline and it's doing it every
Mm,
day. And same with you. I know, so I think even Tony Robbins, I'm just going to say, because he's one of my mentors, probably falls off, once in a while.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you think, okay, I'm good now. Like I've been grateful for 364 days. Today, I'm not going to be grateful and everything goes to heck in a handbasket, right?
Yeah.
And
How
why?
often do we do that with our health? How often, I know for me, I'm going to talk for me and me alone, but
Tell
how
me, tell
often
me.
have I done oh my God, I did so good. I did so amazing. I worked out for 20 days every single day, or I went for that walk, or I dropped those 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever it was, right?
Mhm.
And then we go, I'm good now. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm great. I'm doing wonderful. So now I can go back to having, 3 slices of pizza for dinner. I'm good.
Yes. Oh, don't. I'm starving. Don't even
Yeah.
talk. Pizza. Pizza.
But you
Oh,
know what I
want to
mean?
know
How
my
often?
weakness? Hold on. Back to weakness. Pizza and peanut butter cups. Those are my two weaknesses. And poutine, which
Every
I haven't
time
had
you
in
tell me
decades.
something about yourself, we align more and more. Pizza is my all-time favorite food. If I could eat
Go to.
nothing but one thing for the rest of my life, every meal, it could be pizza. I'm in. Pizza. Give
Same.
me
And
pizza.
you know how
Cold,
bad it.
hot, like I don't care.
old, 6 days old, taking off, the back of the
Pizza.
pizza
Mm.
box.
Oh,
I am the same. And you know what? And I've tried every variation, the cauliflower, pizza dough, all
yep.
this. And I'm
Yeah, yeah.
just like, I'd rather start. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to all the beautiful vegans out there, but if I'm going to have pizza, the one sort of pizza hack, I know we're going on all different kinds of things, which makes
That's
us
what I
so
love most
interesting,
about us.
but is doing pizza on a wrap,
Yeah.
because it takes
Yeah.
away all the dough and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I sometimes even put no cheese. I know it's really like not the same, but so you and I are. I told you we were separated at birth. At some point, we can thank our mamas for that. But pizza and whatever, that's my weakness. And we should, at some point, we should even talk about weight, because it is such a huge
Oh,
thing
I'm in. I'm
for
in for that
women.
conversation.
Same. And I love, I'll just tell you quick, and then I want to hear your thing. And then sadly, we have to sign off.
I
But,
know.
with the weight thing, people would always be like, oh, you look good for having 4 kids. Oh, did you just have
Oh,
a
isn't
baby?
that
Oh, do
the
you want to?
worst?
And I'm like,
Oh,
what an asswipe thing. Why would you just say, my mother taught me, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. You know what I mean? And people will come to me. It's like, oh, does this make me look like chubby, or like, does this make my butt look big? And I'm like, why are you asking me? I'm like, maybe put like another, like, do you have another shirt or with it? Because I can't lie, right? That's sort of my non-superpower or superpower.
yeah.
But I'll be very honest, and I help, people, whatever, do their wardrobe. But my point to my story is, why do people comment on other people's weight? Isn't that like parenting, religion, weight? Isn't that all offside for people to comment on?
Yeah, and it's funny. It should be. It definitely should be. Do you
It
know what?
should be.
It should be. It should be on the list. I don't know how we get it on the list, but it should be on the list. But do you know what's? Do you know what's
Oh.
funny? I have a really good friend of mine, and it's funny because you look at us, we're complete opposites, and he is very thin. He's very slim, and I'm still a fairly curvier person, but I've lost a significant amount of weight, and so was even curvier before. And when we were first friends, and when we first met, I was actually very largely pregnant, also. So on top of that, and so everyone would laugh like, "Oh, you guys are the oddest." They'd say you're the oddest couple. He actually trained me in one of my jobs, so we were together a lot. And we once had a conversation long into our friendship, so we were totally comfortable with each other. And he said I was talking about how I hated comments on my weight. I hated it because it made me feel uncomfortable, and it made me feel like, oh, they're looking. I was very self-conscious.
Of
And he
course.
laughed and he said, "But wait, why is it okay for people to make comments on my lack of weight?" And I was like, "What?"
Ooh.
And he was like, everybody says, like, don't comment on weight. That's rude. Don't say someone's curvy or plus size or put on some pounds, or you can't say any of that. He said, but why is it okay for someone to say to me, like, oh, you're so skinny? He says, do they think I like being so skinny? He said, I've struggled my whole life as a man who wished I was bulkier. And so why is it okay for someone to say you're so skinny? He's like, could you imagine if I walked up to you and was like, wow, you're so big? He's like,
Yeah.
I can't say that. I said, but why is it okay to say the other
Wow.
way? And you know what? I'll be honest. I had probably said it to him because it had never occurred to me, because I wanted to be smaller. It had never
Yes.
occurred to me that being smaller might be offensive to someone else.
Mm.
So
How interesting. And
yeah,
you know what? You're so like spot on. And I think anybody who's listening, don't comment on certain things and how people look. It's not your business. How do you know that he's not sick? How do you know,
yeah,
like you said,
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
a struggle for him,
yeah,
right? Because what's a struggle for you and I
yeah,
could be a similar, body image struggle.
yeah,
I know lots of amazing professionals that struggle even with body dysmorphia, where in my
absolutely.
mind, they are perfect, beyond,
Yeah,
like, almost too perfect, right? But
yeah,
they look at themselves like, oh, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, what? Like, don't, first of all, don't talk like that. And secondly, in my mind, you're perfect. But if in your mind, you're not perfect, then that's a whole nother conversation to be had. But how interesting, because, you're right. What people's perception is is that, thin is something everybody wants to achieve or
Yeah.
everybody wants to whatever, and it's not.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you brought that up. That's interesting. And what's your friend's name?
What's that?
What's your friend's name?
Spencer.
Spencer. Thank you, Spencer, for bringing that not
Yeah.
only to your attention, but to all of our attention.
Yeah.
It's fun. Now you're just kind of making me think too. Let's just have this quick conversation because you've got boys as well. My last boy, like, and again, I'm just going to say he looks like he needs a hamburger. He's skinny as anything. And he'll come home and he'll say, "Oh, I'm fat." And I'm like, and I'm thinking in my mind, and again, this is me, and it's totally not right to think this way, is do boys actually have those issues? Yes, they
Mm.
do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And I know my kids I've had from, extremely husky and healthy to very fit to gaining 60 pounds to the other, whatever. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so did somebody, and I'll ask the
Yeah.
questions. Oh, who said that? Right. And my ears are like getting all hot because
Burning. Yeah.
I'm like want mommy mode
Yeah.
kicking in.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, look. And so he's pulling his skin. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is skin
Yeah. We all need
for
that.
you
Yeah.
for you to grow into. Well, somebody said like this here where my stomach is. And as I'm having this, I'm feeling like I'm having an outer body experience because
Yeah.
I cannot believe that the body shaming or the body conversations are still happening in the locker room.
Yeah.
And his stomach is bigger because it's his stomach with skin over it and there's ribs here.
Yeah.
But now they put it in his mind that he is fat. I'm sorry. I know you're not allowed to use that word, but I'm just telling you my experience of what
Yeah.
he had. And I'm thinking, wow, with all the, knowledge that we have, with all the campaigns that go on, all the body shaming, all the acceptance that is supposed to be going on, that's still going on. Did you know that?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. So, same, with three teenagers in the house. So, three out of my four are teenagers. And yeah, it's so unfortunate. And, I'll tell you a quick story. I know we need to wrap up, but so my daughter's young, she's 4. And I was sitting in the living room. This is a couple weeks ago. Her brothers were all here. They were all teens. And she was just playing. She was dancing and singing. And she, and just roaming around as she does. And she just looked at me out of nowhere. And she said, "I'm beautiful." And I thought, man, I don't know when it happens that we break that. But I wish we could figure out how to keep that. Keep that,
Oh,
like, I feel amazing about me and I love me. Like when I don't know when that breaks, but I
well, you're gonna
wish we
make me
could
cry
solve it.
off my eyelashes, but
I wish we could solve
isn't that
that. Like,
beautiful?
I wish my teenagers, and they all kind of looked at me like, I wish I felt that way, like, and
Yeah.
I don't know when it breaks, and I don't know what breaks it. But there's another, $1 million idea. If we could break whatever breaks that, we'd be set. We'd be set.
Yeah, you know what though? Let's just talk for 1 second about your daughter, and let's give a big kudos to you because you also taught her that she is beautiful. And it's
Yeah, thank
usually
you.
to
Yeah.
me from the inside out. It has nothing to do. I mean, we probably all think our kids are, what, like I don't really
Of
look at the
course.
look part. I look at like who they are as a person, right?
Yeah.
And you ask where it breaks. I think it breaks in school. I think it
Mm.
breaks when the bully and the person that the little one, and they're little because I
Yeah.
volunteered a lot in school, and it happens even in SK grade 1 where they're body comparing already,
Yeah.
right? They're already, and then it takes one person to make fun of somebody or one person to say something that puts it in their mind, and then that starts to manifest. And it's, to me it feels like it's blocks that are built, and then you're right, and then it's just all of a sudden you wake up as an adult and it's like, when did that happen? And I
Yeah.
bet you if you go back, and I wonder if that should actually, this should, because I've got a great story that I'll sort of leave everybody hanging on to, about why I didn't have a mirror in my house for 4 years, full
Wow.
length mirror. 4 years. We will talk about that.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there's something that we can share and we can talk about. And I'm going to send you some stuff too that we could just sort of put out there, even for parents or caregivers that experience that. Because I don't know about your little one. I bet you she would come home and tell you if somebody body shamed her, would she not?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
so
Absolutely.
how do we deal with that? Do we just say, "Oh, that person's probably whatever, they're crazy, they're whatever." I know maybe you're not even allowed to use the crazy word anymore. I don't know, but it's how do we deal with that, right? And I feel like, cuz you're a reader, when my son went through it, there's some really good books about
Mm,
bullying, and
mm,
I sort of what I did very quickly was turn that into empathy and sort of,
mm.
not that I don't know that it's helped. I just didn't know what else to do
Yeah.
besides
Fair.
get
Fair.
on the horn with the parent and
Yeah.
say control your child, or what's going on for this child that they're
Yeah.
behaving this way, is to have empathy. I mean, what else can you do?
Yeah,
Can you think of
I
anything?
agree with you. I try to focus on control what you can control. And so I have that
Mm,
conversation with my kids a lot. Control what you can control. You cannot control what others will say about you or to you or think about you. But what you can control is how you react. And so let's do it with kindness. Let's, let's not let them determine who we are. And then I'll have the discussion of, but you're not. You're not ugly, and you know that you're a beautiful person, and so those things. And if they don't see that, that's okay. That's okay.
ooh,
You
that's
can't control that.
powerful.
You can't
That's
control that.
powerful.
And you know
But
what? That took me getting to that place as an adult. Like in
I
my
was just gonna
40s.
say, that comes with a lot of
Yeah.
experience, because
Yeah.
to tell a child that, like, their whole world is their
Mm,
peers and their
yeah.
friends and their
Yeah.
whatever. And for us to say, well, that's not true. And oh gosh, I've said it too. I'm like, look at you, you're this, you're
Yeah.
that, you're an
Yeah.
athlete, you're whatever. But they don't feel that. That's I think where it sort of starts to get stripped away. And then to come full circle again, then we beat the heck out of ourselves. If, let's say, we do gain 5 pounds, or our body is there. And again, puberty, my kids were like this, like
Yeah.
this, like this,
Yeah.
like that, right?
Exactly.
Especially boys, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're going to change, it's okay. But anyways, I know we started this, and we're going to continue the series talking about how women wear so many different hats, but yours and
Yeah.
my conversation go into so many important and different spaces and
I
places.
love that.
I just absolutely love you to pieces. You
Mm.
know that, right?
And
So
right back
thank
at you.
you. Thank you for bringing up all of these extremely important things. And hold on, we got to do a quick change before we leave.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We'll say goodbye here. Oh here. We
Where's
gotta
my
get a
purple?
fun.
Where's my purple?
We gotta get a fun. Fun. I
Oh yeah,
got.
you
Oh, I
can
got
really have
some
a really.
color shifters here. These are purple to
Oh,
blue. We go.
oh, I love that one. It actually matches perfect with my screen because I have purple around you.
Yeah.
So you are the bomb. Love you,
Same.
babe. I
Same.
will
Same.
talk to you next week.
That sounds great. I look forward to it.
You're a rock star. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know what? This went into so many interesting spaces and
Yeah.
places. I absolutely loved it. I know we kind of didn't expect to, but you're good with that, right?
No, I
Because
love it. I love
my
it.
thing is, it's got to be organic and it's got to
Yeah.
matter. This is going to matter to people. I'm sorry, I probably threw you off on your timing and everything,
No, we're all
but I
good.
very much appreciate you, and
I
we
appreciate
shall
you.
chat.
When will this be posted?
When do you want it to be posted?
I just want to make sure that I can do a quick check-in with my friend Spencer to make sure that it's okay. His name's
Oh,
mentioned.
sorry, I
No,
shouldn't
it's
have asked
okay.
that.
I'm sure he'll be fine, but I want to ask him
I
before.
can
Yeah.
take it so not this week.
Okay.
It won't be this week, and we can also remove it.
Okay. Let me ask him, and if it's an issue, we'll remove it. But I just want to make sure just before it
Yeah,
mentions
I
his name.
shouldn't have. I did it more like a shout out
Yeah, yeah,
for,
yeah. No,
hey,
I totally get
thanks
that,
for
and
the.
yeah, I
Sorry,
totally
I
get
didn't.
that. But
Thank
let
you
me,
for
yeah, let me just ask him.
bringing that to my attention.
No
I
problem.
will send you an email shortly, okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you, darling.
Enjoy the
See you
rest of your
soon.
day, love.
You too. Bye.